Thank you for joining us for another edition of the Bow Wow Bill live stream. I have with me a good friend of mine, JT. As always, if you don't mind hitting the share button and give me a couple minutes while I share this on various pages. How are you doing today?
I am doing awesome today, and I'm going to do the same. I got a couple of dog pages of my own here. I want to share this too.
What dog pages do you have?
The dog pages. So I have Maui Dog Remedies, which I still have things going there, even though I live in San Diego. And I have Dog Street School Swag, which has about 2,500 people on it.
Dog Street School Swag.
Swag, yes.
Cool.
So let's see how I can actually share. Oh, here we go. Share it to the page.
Yeah, bear with us for a second and hit that share button if you don't mind. Let's get this spread far and wide and get our audience growing. And we appreciate everybody, all you live viewers now. We're going to be covering some pretty cool information. JT and I go way back. We're actually working on another project right now that isn't dog related. It is has to do with cryptocurrency. So if something that you're interested in as well, check out our other project, CryptoLearningAcademy.com. And there's a page that we have on Facebook for that where we go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. So check that out. And shoot, I need to stay on.
Sometimes we talk about dogs on there too.
Yeah,
I mean, we talk about dogs a lot.
It's hard not to when you've worked with dogs and you're passionate about dogs. And we both have dogs like right in our vicinity. I actually got a bunch of dogs here, so in case pandemonium erupts, bear with me for a bit. as we tame the chaos, if you will, and we'll be right back on track. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. I have with me my little sidekick. I don't know if you can see here. Let me drop down, and there she is. This is my girl. This is Sequoia. Sequoia's never far from me, and anytime that I'm in this seat, she's always sitting right behind me. And she is my pup. She's going to be 1 year here in May, and such a wonderful little girl. I love her so much. So,
Matrix. I got 2 Wimes. Matrix is usually right under me. My dogs also have 2 names. It's something else we can talk about as well. But he goes by Matrix and Ben.
Matrix and Ben, your little pet names. I love it when I hear my clients' pet names that they have for their dogs. It makes me laugh so hard. I mean, there's some of them. I mean, what are some of the interesting names? I've had Al Pacino, like that was his real name, was Al Pacino, the dog. Gary, people loved Gary because of his name.
Is Reggie's dog, Da Vinci.
Da Vinci's a good one. Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, and then the nicknames are awesome. It's Matrix, Mate, Ben, Benny Boy, Benjamin. I mean, they go on, right? And then I've got Carmela, who is Zelda, and Zelda Dawn, and ZD, and ZZ, Zeldy. She's got a lot of names, too.
I'm going to post this in a dog professional group. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about life hacks for your dog. And so if you have any tips or tricks, please comment below on the Bow Wow Bill page, the original video here. And also we're looking for, all kinds of guidance. We're going to be covering like equipment, tips and tricks of like do it yourself, home remedies, good resources that you can utilize. We realize that the cost of owning a dog is quite a bit sometimes, especially when you get into medical costs and whatnot. But the benefits of owning a dog far surpass these costs. And so any way that we can alleviate any type of these costs, help you save time and money, based on our experiences and observations working as dog professionals for a number of years. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So please, by all means, share your knowledge as well, and we might even invite some guest speakers to come on board and chat with them a little bit today too. So let me see here. And then you have, so what started you working with dogs? We talked about your first dog named Spencer. Mm-hmm. And some people get into this industry kind of the universe forces their hand, and that's what happened to you.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes. So growing up on a ranch, I'd been around animals, dogs, horses all of my life. Always had a way with them. In fact, I used to have ranchers have me, little girl, come over to get a saddle on their horse if they couldn't deal with or whatever. So I had a way with it. And so this is why it was kind of shocking to me that this actually happened. But as an adult, I had dogs. I'd moved away from the ranch before I went to college. And then, I had a home, my dogs, and what have you. Well, I moved for a lot of reasons. I moved from Bellingham, Washington to San Diego, California. And I took my 2 dogs and my computers and my bikes and all sorts of stuff. And boom, here I go. I take off to San Diego. So I get to San Diego and it's so like, wow, it's so cool here. I live by the beach and this and that. And I've got my dog, Spencer. And Spencer was a black lab, coolest dog, love people. Everybody loves Spencer. But what I realized was I didn't take him to dog parks. I've never been a dog park person or anything like that. Get to San Diego and there's this huge dog beach. How cool is that, right? I'm like, all right, we're going to go to Dog Beach. So here we go. We go down Dog Beach. I take Spencer. I got my other dog, Brico. Take him down there. We start walking down. There's tons of dogs all running around all crazy. And all of a sudden, Spencer just sees this dog and freaking starts taking it down. Just, right? And I'm like, oh my God. Right? It was all I could do not to get him off of this dog. The people.
Did you say what kind of dog Spencer was yet?
He was a black lab.
Okay.
He was a black lab. Yeah.
This black lab that lost his shit.
Lost his shit.
He's like cooped up. You're all like.
I have an old website called Sit K9 Sit. If you go to that site, Sit K9 Sit.
Okay.
Letter K, number 9. That picture came up at the top. That's Spencer. He made my logo because I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. This is terrible. And then I thought, well, maybe it was just that other dog. And so then I went to this where I was living and I'm walking my dog with other people. And he's like going after dogs. I'm like, oh my God, I got to do something. This is unacceptable behavior. Yeah. So I looked up and I started going to dog training classes. Well, we got kicked out of 1, 2, 3 classes. Nobody would help me. They're like, you guys can't be here. No, this is just, no, this is, and I'm just like, well, I'm here to get help. So then me being the person I am, he was, at that point, Spencer was like probably 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe 3, somewhere in that range. And so I was like, what am I going to do? So I kind of get obsessed on things. I was training for Ironman triathlons at the time.
Yes, that's another thing that people, how many Ironman triathlons have you competed in?
9.
And how many have you completed?
9. 2 world championships. My race was to get to the world championship.
Wow.
So I raced it around the world to get there. So yes, I did that. So yeah, so that's what I was doing in the midst of this dog thing coming on.
Wow.
And I was kind of looking for the next thing to do in a way, but not really, because I had apartment buildings that were rentals and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, the only thing I could come up with was I started applying and going to dog training academies because I thought, well, I'm gonna learn this. Well, I got into this one. I went away, it was 7 weeks or something. I went away to a whole thing, and I'm looking around in there going, actually a couple of them I still had to struggle with, like they weren't getting the dog thing, the dog aggression thing. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, so I went to a few of them and I looked around and I was like, wow, I'm an entrepreneur, always have been. And I was like, you could do this real easy.
You see an opportunity.
This is an opportunity. So that's how I started my dog training business. And it just blew up and went wild, like right off the bat. So, and I also, interestingly enough, at the time was known, I dealt with aggressive dogs. I used to have a class called Does Not Play Well with Others, because I didn't want to label it aggression.
Yeah, good.
Long story short, I had Spencer for a very long time. He, died of old age. But he ended up being a dog that could deal. He was my demo dog. He could deal with, it was cool. And he had a pretty bad case of it going on. So.
Well, I find sometimes, I had a dog that forced my hand too. It was a golden retriever that just hated kids. I mean, to the point, like scary hated them, when I was younger, and it just taught me, a ton about behavior and how to deal with that. But I mean, not even to the extent that I know now. And then also watching dogs just working in their element and realizing that a lot of these dogs are unfulfilled. And in that age of life, 2.5, 3 years, the dog is getting out of that adolescence and into adulthood. Their mind is kind of, plateauing and turning into this guiding figure type of, mentality. And a lot of times if they don't see that strong leader, they're going to assume that role and try to take order of chaotic situations. And it makes sense that you would go to a dog park and sometimes
you see beach, by the ocean. I thought it was really
beautiful,
cool.
And your dog's just like, oh, Terror Dome. It's on.
The funny thing is that he ended up just loving water, and that was so.
Water.
And I'm not. I disclaimer to this day, not a dog park person. I don't advocate it that much. Really.
We talked about that. Chad Mackin says the best thing, and Chad Mackin, I'm gonna have him on here pretty soon. He calls them diseased fight clubs. I don't know where he heard it from, but that's the term that I use as well. The only time that you'll really see me at a dog park is if somebody's hired me to be there to help them, or if I'm utilizing it as just a very high trafficked area with a bunch of dogs, working with a dog, but usually I'm working with the dog outside the park. I mean, whoever invented dog parks had love in their heart, and God bless them, but it's anthropomorphication of these animals, and a lot of times it's the only outlet that these dogs receive, and they're like little pent-up balls of energy. And sometimes it can turn into a volatile situation, especially if you don't recognize like indicators that are telling you that this thing is advancing in degrees of intensity or possessiveness or intimidation. All that stuff needs to be known before we put our dogs in this kind of environment. Otherwise, it's not safe for the dogs or the people. And I do not recommend dog parks is the short answer. Right,
exactly. So what I ended up doing with him, though, is as his training went on, there were places, I still live in this area. Well, I moved away and came back, but I would take him down to the beach, just not to the dog park. But there would be other dogs there. The thing was, the dog loved swimming so much after his ball, and he learned on his own to surf. I'm not kidding. He would swim. I'd throw the ball out. He'd swim out, and then when he would come back, he'd do this. He'd be swimming.
Right
I'm
away.
a paddler, so I think of this way, right? He'd be paddling, and he'd look back, and he'd wait for the wave to come, and then he'd go like this. It was the coolest thing ever. So, the joy I got out of that dog and the fact that I could take him out and do things with him, that tied into me being able to help other people do that. So that was the evolution of it all.
Well, knowledge through direct experience is a whole different ballgame than just like studying it in a book or something like that. When you've walked the walk, you're not just talking the talk. It brings a lot more value to what you provide, and that's what when you're working with a dog, especially if you're not a professional, you want to make sure that whoever you're working with has had history of working with cases with beneficial outcomes similar to the ones that you are experiencing. And so do your homework. And just like you saw when you first started your trek out you saw that there was a lot of dog trainers that realized their scope of capabilities and said, no, I got my own little thing going here, dude.
This is play group.
This is push button dogs only. This push button dogs easy. Bing. There, you guys play. And and a lot of people that have dogs, it takes a challenging dog for them to for them to realize, what a high maintenance dog looks like, and what management, what a management situation it can be, that can be kind of daunting. And not only that, but that's the importance of doing your homework as well, to when you're selecting a dog, and not just going and looking at a dog and be like, dude, that dog looks cool, I'm going to get it. Realizing what this dog's purpose originally, what this dog was bred for, and then doing proper temperament testing, all that stuff is very important. And so here you are. So how long ago was that?
That was in 1999.
Oh, wow. Almost 20 years.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Wow. You can pull a pension here pretty soon.
Well, not really. I've been self-employed my whole life, so
yeah.
Kind of.
What? Wait, you don't get a pension? I thought I
don't get a pension.
Boom, and then an easy sailing.
But you know what? Buy crypto. Yeah. Oh, that's a different thing. Okay, never mind.
Join the crypto the podcast. Knowledge. Excuse me. We have a comment here. Yes, knowledge through direct experience. Yep, that's it. And sometimes that is the most valuable lesson. When you have that experience, it's ingrained, and but you also relate. You can see and have a different perception than somebody sometimes that's looking out, trying to fix it, looking in. You know what it feels like and how challenging it is, and that helps you provide that assistance as well. So anybody have any life hacks, have any questions for JT or I, just to type them in the comments below. My first life hack, and maybe I can go to Amazon here and just kind of pull up some of this stuff on Amazon, that any products that I have. I'm really a huge fan, first and foremost, of buying quality products. Okay. Especially in the dog world, your dog deserves quality stuff. And these dogs have been around for quite a while. And we have tried and true methods that work fantastic. And it just seems like a lot of times people are always trying to reinvent the wheel. And these products that we see, maybe we should do an episode of products of just these wild products that people invent. For the dog, have you seen the one where you take the butt? There's a bag that goes like right on the dog's butthole.
Like, who would seriously?
My dog would lose his mind. My dog, if he has a little
Weimaraner, can you imagine?
A piece of grass hanging out there, man, it's like trauma, and you can see it in their eyes. It's just like, oh my god, and they can't even move or anything. Either that, or they just run right over to you and sit on you.
Oh man, yeah. There's some crazy stuff out there that people, I don't know. Yeah. Well,
the thing is that they got the idea. It's like the dog park thing, It's like, woo, my dog. The biggest thing that people, biggest mistakes that I see people make is anthropomorphizing their dog. Anthropomorphication is, putting human characteristics on that animal. And maybe the person that invented it wanted a bag for their. I don't know. It could be handy on a plane or something. No, subway standing. What's that?
Do you know who JP Sears is?
Yes.
Okay, he did. His last one he did was here's a life hack for you guys. How to save time. Like, he was hacking, save time in your day. And he comes out wearing this diaper. So he didn't have to spend time going to the bathroom. That goes along with the dog diaper. It's just almost as ridiculous.
I'm wearing one right now.
I am not. I'm not signing up. I'm so sorry, but I just can't.
Actually, I'm just kidding. I'm not. I'm not wearing anything from the waist down.
Me either.
Okay, good. I'd insist on that. That's one of the mandatory uniforms for this show. Okay, we're getting off topic. Sorry, everybody.
We got to come back.
All right, bring it back in. So, equipment. You know, I'm a big fan of leather leashes. I wonder if I got any around here. I like biothane. Here's a biothane that I have. Biothane is, I've seen that being used for dogs that poop on the treadmill. Hey!
Now, there you have a point. I am the author of Training Your Dog on a Treadmill. Have a DVD out on that. So, you know, I never even thought of that one. That's
Dang.
That's a good one.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
We got a market for them. We got a niche.
Yep.
We got a niche. So, yeah, I could see that because I had a dog that I trained on the treadmill, and then I brought it home to show the parents that just got this brand new treadmill. They're like, "Oh, and it was an elderly couple, and that's why we were training this dog. It was a Brittany that was just wild, and so I bring the dog home, and I'm like, so excited to show him this dog loves the treadmill. And so we're going, the dog just jumps up on the treadmill, everything's going great. And then all of a sudden, explosive diarrhea, like running, like no indicator, anything. And just, it was horrible, man. It got everywhere. Like imagine a spinning track diet. Like I don't know what happens, but I've seen that happen. I think that they're just running or something in their back leg. Like, I don't know if anybody else.
Here's the thing. And, you know, that's kind of interesting that you bring that up because I'm a Weimaraner owner. I got two of them. One is almost 13 and one is a year and 2 months, or he's going to be a year and 3 months here pretty soon. And one of the he likes to run, and I have an opportunity where I live to do this. I have a place that I can take him out at night. It's a golf course. They actually know that we're out there, and let him go. And I have a recall on him, which is why he's able to do that. But this dog gets so excited. And I clocked him on my GPS. I put that on him. I clocked him at 23.2 miles an hour was his max speed, average speed 9 miles an hour. He went 4.2 miles when we walked 1. So it's a great way to spin it out on him. But I'm going to tie this back into the explosive diarrhea on the treadmill. And that is when he's out there, one of the reasons why they've let us do this, and I have been taking dogs out on that golf course since probably 2001. We always pick up, that's just, you can't not do that, but we pick up after the dogs. We've been there long enough that the golf course people know that we're there. But what I notice about Matrix is that when he goes out, he gets so excited. It's only when he's out there and when he's running that hard. And it's his excitement, not really his running that, but he's so excited. He has like almost diarrhea out there.
Okay.
So I think there might be, that would be an interesting thing to do a little poll for people who have dogs that run like that or get excited like that. Because, and again, it relates in my mind too, because I do also, because he needs the amount of exercise he does, I do have a treadmill for him. And on those days where I don't get him out to do as much as he needs to do to like be a normal dog, I do put him on the treadmill. He loves it. I mean, his tail goes up and he's just like this. So there's that full excitement factor. I even shut it off and I'm done. And he looks at me like, is that it?
Yep.
Are we done? So it's like the excitement factor of it.
Yep, I can see that. I mean, my dogs, they line up and they'll wait to be on the treadmill when that thing's running. And sometimes I'll just let it run and they'll jump on and then they'll run, jump off. But yeah, they love it. It's fun for them.
Yeah.
So
we do have a question here.
Let me put the question up on the screen here. So yeah, this one, I saw this. So Tula sent us a question. So yeah, my friend's pit.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, and that's that's the big thing right there is that friend's pit, because it's, I mean,
Yeah.
well, we'll get into that. But my friend's pit has an unaddressed anxiety slash dominance issues, and then the dominance thing is another thing that a lot of times is mislabeled, but or misapplied. He nips me, in the leg,
Yeah.
and but sometimes, and bites sometimes, I think. So what that means, he hates when he hates when we get between he and his owner. His owner is aware, right there. His owner is aware but unwilling to do anything. Any suggestions? It's hard to make a suggestion when the owner of the dog is unwilling, and I find that there's three different cases. One is the owner doesn't know and is sorry and ready to change. Like, that's it. Like, they're like, oh my gosh, I had no clue, right? Like a dog barking all day long or something like that. And then people are like, man, I can't stand it. And then they go to the owner and they're like, hey man, your dog's barking all day long. And they're like, no kidding. I am so sorry about that. And then they're making changes because they honestly didn't know. And then we have the ones that know, and they sometimes just have got a high maintenance situation that they just can't meet the needs of. And I mean, they're trying sometimes. It's just that they know, but they're still looking for guidance, possibly. I mean, and then there's some that know and just don't give a crap.
Right. And there is a part of, and I can imagine that this is a possibility for your particular case, Tula, and that is people get embarrassed and they get protective of their own problems. Mm-hmm. They feel like it's a reflection on them. Mm-hmm. And so rather than deal with it, they act like nothing's wrong.
Yeah. Or they mislabel it. I mean, with like, oh, he's excited. Yeah. Or they put it on you. Just like what JT said at the beginning, where she was talking about her dog, like she was like, was it the other dog? Right. And it's just like something that we do naturally, is like, as that acceptance kind of takes hold.
Yeah. So, and it's kind of a natural thing that we do. We go into protection mode and then go into defense mode. Mm-hmm. But in this case, yes, you are in a difficult situation, especially since you said did you say it was a neighbor?
No, friend. It's a friend, but it's friend. Also, okay. But the dog is lashing out at you. And this friend needs to realize is that if you go look at if you go look at the phone book, who uses phone books anymore? I'm dating myself here.
Wait, hold on.
If you go look at law practices, little box. There's a car crash attorneys, but another huge practice in the law industry is dog bite lawyers. And when you have a dog like this, man, it's a huge liability. And a lot of people don't realize how much of a liability it is until their dog bites a kid or, bites somebody that they really shouldn't. And if they're showing this behavior in their own home, when they get into a situation where they're really uncomfortable, it's not good. It can manifest in some pretty ugly stuff.
Yeah. So Tula says, not just me, the owner, sometimes his kids and grandkids. And, to be quite frank, after the amount of time that I've been in dogs and what have you, I would sometimes have to go here, and it's where people would either listen or they wouldn't listen. But sometimes you have to just be completely straight up, brutally honest, and just step back and say, listen, I'm seeing what's going on here, and I have real concern that somebody's going to get hurt. And not only that, I have concern for your dog, because if somebody does get hurt, they're going to put your dog down. Yeah. So now everybody's going to be sad. So, maybe come up with some case studies or some options that he could go, and maybe that's it. Maybe this person doesn't really know where to go, or doesn't have an idea of what to do to fix it. So maybe do a little research and be like, go ahead and call these places, or I've called these places, or whatever. Give them some help in getting help.
Oh, cool, man. We got some good interactions here. So yeah, you know what Tila says, I guess it's time to just let him go as a friend. Yeah, and sometimes that's it. I look at how people treat their dogs, and it's telling of the bigger picture too, and not only that, but their acceptance of their own responsibility, and taking ownership for a decision that they've made, and if they're going to leave their friends and family in a situation that could give them hurt and really don't care about it. I don't know if that would be someone that I would value as a friend myself personally. I don't know him, but yeah, it's falls on deaf ears. Yeah, it's not interested. So sometimes that's what it takes, is people really saying, hey, look, this is not okay. This is it. This is a deal breaker for me. Once your dog has crossed the boundaries and bit me, and now you don't care about it, tells me that you don't care about me, and that's something that you're going to have to decide on your own. But we have one from Bob Tuskin. Bob Tuskin from Grow Your Freedom is a documentary that he's working on, and he's down in Florida, and he says, what are some tips on teaching your dog not to play / kill chickens? Okay. And great question, man. This is something that is naturally inherent to the dogs. This is a prey drive, and we work on this particular drive when we're training the animal. Who's the old trainer, the old school trainer? Do you know who I'm talking about? Who would have them tie the chicken to their collar?
Yes. I can picture him.
I think it was a lady. Collar chicken.
There was a lady, but there was also a guy, Dick Russell.
Oh yeah, Dick Russell too. Let me see. Yeah, there was some people that said that if your dog killed a chicken, that you would tie it to, like you would tie the dead bird to this dog's collar for like 24 hours. And I mean, and Kelly Engel, her dog killed like 3 chickens, and she tied. Let me see if I can find her now.
My question: did that work?
I gotta see if she's available. I wanna find out, man.
Because the thing is that now that this subject is brought up, I have known more than one person who's done that, and it did actually work.
Yeah, well, but the first thing to do is to address the problem and to show the dog that these chickens are not a target, and we do that with long line work. That's the first thing that I do is I'll do a chain collar, and actually this is the long line that I use. It's a 15-foot biothane. I'll put up a link in the comments here to this actual product. Yeah, I've heard of folks doing that. That's an old school method. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's cool to talk to these old dog trainers, man, because some of them, the stuff that they would do give me anxiety. But here's that leash that I have right here. It's a 15-foot, excuse me, is biothane. Biothane is like a leather alternative. Here, let me go ahead and just open this up here. And that's the size that I like. I like it to be 15 foot, and I liked it to be 3/8 of an inch thick. So it's a thin line, and it's super tough. Okay, and so Bob has Great Pyrenees, which are bigger dogs. And basically all we're going to be is an anchor. And we can discuss, Bob, anybody that is watching this, I offer Skype lessons, and if I'm not in your local area. And then I also belong to a huge network of dog trainers that can help you hands-on on your property. But I'm going to see if I can find this picture of this bird that Kelly did. And so a long line, and then do some long line work, and then slowly introduce that bird. There's 3 different drives that we work with. There's the prey drive, the social drive, and the defensive drive. The prey drive is going to definitely be those birds, squirrels, rabbits, anything that dog is actually going to eat, going to consume. The social drive is going to be other dogs that they want to play with, cats, people. What else? Just stuff that they want to socialize and have fun with. That would be considered that social drive. And so we use these to prove the training. And then there is a defensive drive. So a defensive drive would be, like fence fighting. Dogs, you see dogs fence fighting, open doors, open gates, dogs bolting when they see that they have just an opening like that. We need to teach them that's not the indicator that they are free to run. They need to wait to be directed. They need to wait for guidance. And so, that's it. It's just starting with an overall concept of how this dog is viewing these chickens, and then get in there to teach the dog that once they go after this chicken, that's not a good idea, and is structured in a way that the dog feels like they're teaching themselves.
The other interesting thing is that a lot of this comes down to recall, and that means recall against away from anything. Yeah,
and there's a paper plate exercise too. That is a great one to start a fun exercise on the recall. And so maybe I can find a link. I'm sitting there looking through Kelly's stuff. I'm just going to message her and see if she has a picture of that chicken, because I want to find out if that worked. I'm messaging her right now. And that's what's cool about belonging to a network of dog trainers, so that we can, kind of shoot back ideas and see what works and see what doesn't. And that's what's cool about working with JT here as well. So, get with me, and then let me see here. Are you available? Yes, I'm going to see if Kelly, she's available. I'm going to send her a link.
That'd be awesome if we could bring her on.
See if she can come on here really quick. Real quick. All right, so we're going to see if we can bring Kelly on, who was on a live broadcast. She does Know Thy Dog training in out of Montana. And
where in Montana? I grew up in Montana.
Bozeman, I think, So I'm looking at all these pictures of her. There's pictures of her shooting guns, and she goes out hunting with her dogs. Sure, I'm driving into Yellowstone, but I have service. She's driving into Yellowstone. Nice. Nice.
Oh my gosh.
We'll wait for her to see if she worked.
So what about this paper plate exercise?
So the paper plate exercise. Hey, Catherine, do you know, Catherine's, I believe, watching this right now, Catherine MacArthur. If you can find a link for that, I know that I'm trying to do like 50 things at once here. So the paper plate recall exercise, I'm going to message Sam here, my other buddy. So basically, it's you send out this dog, and then you have them come back to you over and over again. And I will post up a link to this here. What do you like to do to teach recall?
Me? You talking to me?
Yep.
My go-to is I look for, in the very beginning, I look for the dog's drive. And so what is that thing that they want? I just don't get them very far away from me and call them to me, and their reward is what it is. It might be a food, it might be a ball, it might be my attention. And again, you have to, and this is not off leash, obviously. Like you said, you got your line there because you can't let them decide if they're going to do it or not. But it's just repetition. So I do that, and I used to not like talk about this publicly in, concerned what people would think. But I also, if it's a dog that's got high drive and I really want to make sure that I've got a recall on it, I use a remote collar. So
e-collars are electric collars. We've had the president of ecollar.com on the show with us, and we've heard many testimonials about how, when used properly, this tool is an amazing tool. So, and let's see here. We have, she's trying to join. So let's see. Okay, I can't see her yet.
I think I just found how to use paper plate to teach recall to a dog.
Can you send that to me in the comments here?
Yeah.
So we have a serious question here. My dogs are flat earthers. Any tips on how to deal with that? I'll let you take this one, JT.
Thanks. First, I just want some clarification about what you mean about your dog is a flat earther.
Let's see if that they believe the earth is flat. Hey, there's Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
Can you hear us?
Hi.
Oh, here she is.
Hey, Kelly, guess what? We have this guy down in Florida named Bob Tuskin. First off, you're going into Yellowstone, huh?
Yeah, we're driving. We just got coffee, so I
You
can
did?
chill out and talk to you. Yeah.
Cool. He had a question, and we were talking about you. His question was, what are some tips on teaching your dog not to play or kill chickens? Who was the lady that did originally that tied
Barbara
the chicken?
Well, it's arguable. I think it's Barbara Woodhouse because I grew up reading her book. So it's in the Woodhouse Way book. It's in I think all of her books, but other people say it was one of the Keeler methods. So
I got to ask Tony about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard about it from Keeler too. Did it work?
It works though.
Did it work? So tell us really quick what did you experience and what happened? And do you have a picture of this, don't you?
I do. It's on my Facebook page.
I'll look for it still.
Yeah, I just scroll through my photos. It's from a while ago. It's from a year ago. But I had a little wire-haired dachshund killing my chickens. So I just took one of the chickens, and she only weighs 8 pounds, so it was kind of funny. But you'll see in the photo, it's just like a little dog and a huge chicken. But I just tied it around her neck for like 2 days, I think. 2 days. Yeah. So, and that was it. She never bothered the chickens again.
Yeah, there you go, Bob.
Yeah.
I can't find them here. Albums. Maybe it's in the. You've got so many.
Can I jump on there and look, or will I lose you?
I think you'll lose me, but
Okay.
you can send it to me or tag me in it, and then I'll.
Okay.
Oh yeah, tag me in it. I'll let you go. Tag me in that photo if you don't mind, and then I'll be looking at my Facebook. And Kelly, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on. Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Enjoy
you
it.
guys enjoy.
All right. Have a good drive.
Right. You too. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Cool. So there you go. You gotta love technology, man. So tie a dead chicken around the dog's collar. So I'll wait for her to tag me. Once she tags me, then I'll share that picture with everybody. And John says, "Hey, Kelly." And John was talking about earlier about how honesty is the best approach when Lulu was talking about her friend and Artula was talking about her friend and not and the friend not being receptive to any responsibility on their half. So yeah, I've heard of that, doing that to cure chicken killing. That's exactly what we're talking about, Gene. Bob was asking about that, and so we checked in with Kelly, and so there's an old school method for dogs that are killing chickens there. So so biothane 15-foot leash, and then my other go-to, I like a leather leash. I'm a big fan of a 6-foot leather leash, and I like it a 1/2 inch in width. So I'm going to put down a post to this. Excuse me. I also like them a little bit longer if I could find them. Like my favorite is 6 foot 8 inches. Sometimes I can find those on Amazon, but those are great. I love that leash, and we want a heavier leash. So when you turn away, when we drop any slack on that leash, that dog actually feels that weight, and that's kind of being fair to that animal here. So let me.
Bob's thanks. I heard from someone, but just could not take it seriously. I hope I don't have any more dead chickens, though.
Yeah, I mean that's it. You got to wait, but I'll tell you, dude, Bob. Let's chat on Skype a little bit, and I can give you some drills. Go to the first link that I posted, Bob. It's a $21 leash, and go buy that, and then call me when you have that, and then I'll show you how to start the process of learning for that dog there, and then. Okay, so we found the paper recall exercise. Let me post this one up into the comments as well. And so far in the comment section, we have the 15-foot biothane, which is this same line that I have right here. That's what I start basically every dog on. And then we also have a 6-foot leather leash. It looks like we got a message from Kelly here. There it is. Chicken shaming. That's what it's called. Chicken shaming. Oh man. Okay, so how can I share this?
Oh
this
man.
This is not for the squeamish, I guess. Here, let's see. Application window. This window. Wait. Okay. Chrome tab. It is, I think, this one. Wait, I'll see. I'm sitting there talking to myself here.
Meanwhile, John Sparks says, growing up on ranches, dogs got a blast of rock salt from the .410 for predation on farm animals. One lesson used to solve this issue. Not what I do these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some
old school.
Here. I grew up on a ranch as well.
And that's lucky. That dog would be lucky. I mean, there'd be some dogs that would not go home. I mean, that was it. You had to. I mean, livestock. They call livestock because that's alive. The stock is alive, and when that stock is dead, that's their livelihood. And some of these ranchers and farmers take that very, very seriously, life and death seriously. And not only will they kill your dog, but if they venture on their property, but their animals might go after any animal that comes on their property as well too. So that just illustrates that we're dealing with an animal here, and that why we should not anthropomorphize them or put human characteristics on them. So here's the picture. Let me solo this. There it is, folks.
Oh my goodness.
There's a picture. So that dog killed that chicken, and she let that chicken on that dog for 2 days from Barbara Woodhouse, and then also from Bill Keeler. But that's it, folks. I mean, sometimes it's not pretty, but I tell people let the dog be the expert. And so there's a life hack for you there. Yeah, and hopefully the dog's not. Lesson 2 was led to the head. Exactly, man. That's it. And especially when a dog, went after livestock was one thing, but I remember when a dog bit a kid, that was a death sentence for that animal. And it's not fun and games. I mean, it's something that, when we were talking about earlier with somebody that isn't responsible for that. That chicken shaming is awesome. The dog's face is just like, what did I do? Chicken shaming. I love it. Here's Kelly.
Oh, man.
Kelly says, hey, John Sparks. So, and John, if you got any life hacks or anything down, comment down below. And John will be joining us here shortly for one of these live streams as well. So The other thing that I recommend. Wait, do you have any life hacks that you want to mention real quick, JT?
Oh gosh, let's see. I have it just they're all over the place. Like I have dogs who like just will inhale their food. So I always recommend to have, I mean, there's two ways to do it. You can get a bowl that has things in it to slow them down, or you can put like cans of food or whatever in there, something that they have to go around that they can't eat, so they can't just hurp their food down. That's a hack that I use for my own dogs, and it's worked on a lot of other people's dogs too. So
yeah, the hacking or gulping food down really quickly, especially for larger breeds, can be dangerous because the dog can develop torsion or what's called bloat, and that's a twisted stomach. And what happens is that stomach twists since it's not attached, and it will cut off blood flow to the other half and kill that tissue. And if that tissue remains dead for a while, that's going to turn necrotic. And what are you doing?
Jean says, laugh out loud, mine just removed the rocks.
Yeah, I know. They're just like, just stupid human. We don't eat rocks. Stupid human. Yeah, I love dogs that are smart like that, man. That's what I mean, I got to have my dog, Ash. What a turkey. Ash. I want to see if he'll. Oh, here comes. And then I have another dog named Hush here. Whenever I call one of them, they both come. So Ash is this guy. He just woke up, I can tell. Isn't that gross that I can tell by my dog's breath if they just woke up? Look at him.
Yep, I'm just waking up.
He's like, I just waking up.
I'm going to give him a little hug, though.
So this dog is so cool, man. Like, he's just such a cool little dude. He's almost 2 years old, and he's just turning out to be just so rad. He's so much fun, but he's a challenge. And I think that's why he's a challenge, that's why I think that he's so fun, is because he is so challenging. And sometimes, I mean, even when I'll be working on my torch, and he's ready, he's just like, he'll just growl at me. I'll be like, "Arr!" And then he'll like bark, and then he'll come and just run up and bump me. And I'm like, dude, look at you, huh? And it just makes me laugh.
Matrix. Let's see if we can get Matrix over here. So like you said, back to the she just their dog removed the rocks. So awesome.
And then she says now use a slow feeder or feed by hand when training. And then the other thing too is that we also do a bowl-free week. We do with the training circles, where we will feed them by hand, feed them in training. My goodness. Stretches. Feed them. Feed the chickens is another exercise. We'll feed them all out in the yard together. Let them kind of sniff and peck through the grass to find their food. And yep, Ash, can you speak? Hey, speak. Oh, do you see him? Ash, speak. Good boy. Ash.
Matrix,
Ash.
come here.
Ash, speak.
Come on, Matrix.
Oh, he don't care. He's gonna go back to sleep. So there he goes. Yeah, he does awesome. Speak. I'll take it. So yep. They have the puzzle bowls. They have the bowls that look like Legos that have the little sections, and definitely get your dog to slow down if you can. I mean, even with those puzzle bowls, I mean, I have the black lab that's just like, you put that puzzle bowl in front of them, they're just like just like,
yeah. But it does slow them down. So
yeah. Well, it doesn't allow them to gulp so much air and so much food at one time. And I mean, you could see it where they have to like struggle to swallow. They're like, gulp, gulp, gulp. Yeah. To get it down. And then, yep. My life hack that I have is I have a DIY, a do-it-yourself anti-yeast concoction that I make. For yeasty paws, yeasty ears, or yeast wherever else it might grow in the cold, dark, moist places, in dogs and I guess in humans too. But we're talking dog hacks today.
But we're talking dog hacks.
That's right. So the first thing I do is I go to Walmart and I get the Monistat 7, which is a yeast cream found in the ladies section, the mysterious ladies section over there.
Yes.
And then I go to Costco and I get the cortisone cream. And then I'll go and I make colloidal silver. And colloidal silver is an antibiotic that was before World War One, one of the most useful antibiotics that we knew before penicillin. And it's very easy to make. I can maybe set up a link here on how to make it. You make it with 3 9-volt batteries, and you got to get 2 silver rounds, 9-volt batteries, and then distilled water and some attachments for that. And then you can make an unlimited supply of colloidal silver for yourself and your family. So let me see.
Or you could be like me and I go to CVS.
And the stuff's
and
crazy
pay a lot
expensive.
of money for it, but
yeah, I mean it's crazy expensive because I mean it's like this big for like $30, man, and that's what got me to do this.
And dog is. I'll be right back.
You've been clawing it for a while. Let me see.
Come here.
So I found a link here to the site where I will show you how to make colloidal silver, and I'll share this into the comments here. So then I mix it all up. I kind of make even parts of the cortisone cream and the Monistat 7, and I use the 7. There's like a 1, a 3, and a 7 or something like that, and I use the 7. And then I mix it all up, and I've seen some wonderful. So Gene, it's very expensive to buy. Yep, and here's a link to how to make it. You got to buy the silver rounds. That's probably the most that you'll spend is for the silver rounds. But then you go to Radio Shack, or you can find these components online, these little alligator clips, and it's basically these positive and negative connections that you use to hook up to the 9-volt batteries, and then you chain the batteries together to create 27 volts. You put one on the negative, one on the positive, you drop them into the water, you wait, and then you could also get a parts per meter, ppm, reader that can tell you how many parts per million are in the water there. And who do we have here?
This is Matrix. Now he's taking off. I had to go check on him though, because when Weimers are quiet, I just wanted to make sure.
You're like, it's too
Especially
quiet.
when he's 2 months old.
It's too quiet, and mom's energy is distracted, so it's like it's to the off to the races. So I make that cream, and especially because we live up here in the Pacific Northwest where it's very wet. And a couple of my dogs get that yeasty paws, so I use that. I'll use cornstarch sometimes if it's a yeasty paw because it's too wet. There's lots of different workarounds for some cream that might be very expensive. Anybody else who has dogs that have really bad ear infections, I'll use that cream, and then I'll use that in conjunction with this Zymox. And so I definitely recommend this Zymox. I'll put up a link. Oh, can you see that? Here we go. So there's that Zymox. Yep. And so this is what I recommend. It's an enzyme for the ears if your dog gets a lot of ear infections. They have the enzyme, and then they have the cleaner. Keep in mind that if you get the enzyme, if your dog has a current ongoing infection, you don't want to clean it out. You want to put the enzymes in first. I've done that mistake where I got the cleaner, clean it all out, and then the enzymes actually work on the flora that's in that ear there. So let me find if I can find a link to that. And what do you got?
So here's a hack that I use. There's a couple of them actually. One of the things that I have used on my dogs, and I've told a lot of other people in my life that have dogs to do this, and it's helped tremendously with a lot of things. And that is I feed, and this goes along with if they do have, the itching, they are prone to get infections, things like that. I give my dogs in their food a combination of turmeric and coconut oil. And there's a reason why I do those two things together. When turmeric is very, if you look it up, it can go after things like MRSA even. Like it goes after a lot of different things, but it also is very anti-inflammatory. So it's helpful for older dogs. So it kind of runs the spectrum. But turmeric is hard to absorb, whether you're a dog or you're a person, if it doesn't have a conduit to make it absorb. Coconut oil is one of those things that will make it absorb very well. And coconut oil also has its own properties that are very helpful for dogs. One, it's antimicrobial, so it goes after infections, but it's also anti-parasitic. So it goes after little parasites and things like that. So that combination is huge. It's also anti-inflammatory. So especially for dogs that are starting to get older, it's very helpful for their joints and just their mobility. But it also is very helpful for infections, to build up their immune system, to keep inflammation away from to start with. Because like humans, as we age, we start getting this inflammation thing, and that's what starts getting you stiff and what have you. Dogs have that accelerated version of it because they don't live as long as we do. So it's something that I have started doing. I've seen it help dogs that had issues. And now I just do it as a protocol and to build their immunity, to keep the inflammation down and that kind of thing. And it's just a really great hack. I think it's a good hack to practice often because it can keep your dog, like we started in the beginning, the vet can be very, very, very expensive. So if you can keep your dog healthy, just immunity wise, all those kinds of things, you're going to spend less money at the vet. So.
Yeah. Well, Jean asked, is there a ratio you use to make it?
I use it based on size of dog. So usually a larger dog, like my Weim is 70, 75 pounds, gets a teaspoon, 1-to-1 ratio, teaspoon to teaspoon in their food. And then if it's a smaller dog, like if you got like a little tiny dog, little tiny, I'm going to do 1/4 to 1/4. And like a medium-sized dog, I'm going to do 1/2 to 1/2. Yep.
Well, I mean, that goes into cannabis oil too. That's my other hack that, do you know what I should do? I think I should do my cannabis oil presentation on this live stream. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments section below. Yeah, she has a 100-pound Roddy, so that would probably be,
yeah, I would do at least maybe a little more of a teaspoon to teaspoon, rounded or something like that, for sure. But yeah, the CBD oil, my older dog, she's almost 13. She's on that too, and that's made a huge difference for her.
Well, yeah, and not just CBD too. I preach about the THC as well.
Yeah.
I heard that so many people have told me that THC is toxic to dogs, and I have to disagree with them. Only dogs that have been have died because of this quote THC toxicity actually died because of asphyxia, of being vomited. There's 2 of them in Colorado that they attributed to this. And I mean, it knocks the dogs for a loop. It can definitely cause vomiting, and it needs to be watched after. But the dosage is very important. And I did a presentation at Jen Freelick's place at the End of Your Leash a couple of years ago that I should post up here. It's on YouTube. Canines and Cannabis.
I videoed that.
Yeah, you did. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were there, and I'm thinking about doing it again on the live stream here, where I can just put up my slides and then talk about it right here, just so I can have it a nice presentation on the internet. So I think I'll be doing that. I'll be working on that and then getting that up here. So and we use 1 gram of the oil, the cannabis oil, and we call it Rick Simpson oil or Fedco full extract cannabis oil, not just CBD. And we do that for 58 grams of MCT oil, which is the liquefied coconut oil that you can get online, and then we mix that up and make it into a tincture, and you can be much more liberal with the dosage when you're dosing out that dog for the cannabis oil. The cannabis oil definitely affects every dog differently, just like it affects every person differently, and they need to gauge the dosage on that particular animal and what's going on in that animal's life that is requiring this medicine here. So. Yep, Alex said, okay, cool. I'll definitely post it up. There is, I mean, you can go on YouTube right now and type in Bow Wow Bill Canine and Cannabis, and you'll see the video that JT took when I was down in Jennifer's place. It's not the best quality, and that's why I want to redo it here, because this medicine is legit. I've seen it add many years on the dogs' lives, many cool, wonderful dogs that have spent more time with their loved ones in a comfortable, happy life till the end. And so that's something that I have chosen to be a huge advocate for. Cannabis oil, not just the CBD, but the THC present as well. You just have to be very, very close, or pay attention very closely to the dosage that you are administering, and we have to titrate it up. And also, I
actually have Zelda. It's saved her. Like this dog, she's almost 13. I almost lost her however long that was ago when I lost Emmy, October of 2016, right?
Wow.
And she has her spleen removed. She had a big cyst on it, or a big tumor on it. I've had her on that since, and it's very interesting to me that this dog, who is almost 13 right now, she is vibrant. She runs. I had her out on the golf course last night, and I mean, she was just running along. This dog was like nearly dead, and I attribute it to that. Those 3 hacks. Well, it's 2 hacks, because one of them you have to have together, but it's the CBD, THC, and then the turmeric and coconut oil. Her vibrancy, her flexibility, her just whole kind of outward vibrance is all there. And, by all rational means, if you saw what she was going through at that point in time, I mean, I thought it was the end, and this dog was the love of my life. So I was like, it was like, I'm pulling out all stops here, but I wasn't willing to do I go along these lines of the alternative, which I believe is much more healing than some of the other things that they have out there that they're going to try to put you on if you were to go to ask, not all, but a lot of veterinarians.
The radiation and chemotherapy routes and stuff like that sometimes I've heard of wonderful things, but also I like the path of least resistance, and you're always weighing the cost versus the benefit. And and then also letting the dog show you what they need, and talking with that animal, and being honest with yourself and them too. But I attribute my girl Molly, who went to heaven over the summertime. She came to me at 11 years old with 6 months to live, and she lived to the ripe old age of almost 16 before she went to heaven with a nasty sarcoma. So it was she just fought as long as she could, and then it finally just overtook her, and we sent her home last summer. And it's never easy to do that, but it's also something that I think that we owe our animals to, after so much that they've given us their whole lives, that it's such a wonderful gift that we can give them to end their suffering. And it's not easy. I mean, if you're ever dealing with this and you ever want to know, as a professional, what we do when we talk about this is there's some euthanasia evaluation forms that I recommend for my clients, especially with dogs that are getting up there and they're just not really knowing exactly when to have the talk, or even to entertain that idea. And it just kind of looks at the quality of that dog's life and puts it into a way that is easily gauged, that you can kind of see where on the spectrum their quality is versus the time to possibly have that conversation.
So I think we're getting somebody else in here. I think Jean also wants to see that presentation. So I think we should plan a time to do that one on the CBD THC.
Yep.
So I think
it's basically a presentation on how to make basically an overall presentation on the cannabis plant, the different types, the different varieties, what variety you want to use for medicine, and then also how to make it. Not necessarily, I would love it if people can make their own. It's not that hard. At first it looks like it's a pretty daunting task, but if you can't make it yourself, then at least you will know that you're getting the right stuff. And that's my goal here, is to either show you how to make it or to show you how to find the right stuff, the good stuff, because there's a lot of shysters out there that are taking advantage of this, and it's unethical to take advantage of people's fear, and so that's why I want this out, free information available to people. And it's a plant. It's a weed. It's easy to grow. And the medicinal effects are mind-blowing. It's almost a panacea when I see how much I've seen this plant literally change lives of people and dogs. So I'm a huge advocate for it. So I'll definitely post that up there in the next few weeks. Resources that I often use and refer my clients to, some resources. One, Dog Food Advisor.
Yes.
So Dog Food Advisor, I got to put a link up here. A while ago, around 2006. No, not even. 2005, 2006. There was a melanine tainting in dog food from China, or this Chinese ingredient that they were trying to up the protein in these dog foods, and this melanine, and they added it, and it caused all these dogs' livers and kidneys to fail all over the country, thousands and thousands of dogs. And there's no real safeguard as far as like a head of an agency that looks over the dog food industry. And so this is a third-party company called the Dog Food Advisor that is, they go and they test these different dog foods and evaluate them. And the other good thing about this company is that they will send out alerts in case there is a recall on a particular food, and you can get the first alert in case you feed your dog that food. You don't want to make them sick.
So that's actually a really good hack right there, is to get on that site and get yourself signed up for the alerts, because things do happen. I've even seen some pretty good dog food companies have a recall for whatever reason. And so it's just something that you should be aware of.
Yep. Let me see here. And then also on another good site that's online, that's for a good resource, would be on Reddit, Reddit. Let's see. So there is a subreddit called Ask Vet, that these veterinarians are there, and a lot of times this is a good resource. I'll put it here in the comment section here, where you can ask a vet if something has happened or something is going on with your dog, and you want some feedback pretty quickly. That's a good one, but nothing can substitute the actual seeing of a medical professional. And then also YouTube as well. YouTube's a huge resource in the last 5-10 years, and there's so many things that you can learn off of YouTube. I learned how to change my O2 sensor in my Toyota Camry. I was damn proud of it too, man. I'm just like,
I have these, I've got people that I interact with in all kinds of different scenarios with my, marketing company and what have you. So I had a millennial tell me that they learned how to drive a stick shift car on YouTube.
There you go.
So, hey,
come full circle, man.
It's so true.
There's a lot of great information on YouTube. some of the stuff is you got to take with a grain of salt. But I mean, there's some serious good stuff. I mean, I like some dog trainers on there. Jeff Gelman's got some good videos. Sean O'Shea, the good dog. Peter Kane, I even watched some of that dude. Some of that stuff. I mean, he's a good dog trainer. I mean, he's wild. He's like head of Bigfoot or something. I got to get him on here too.
Well, you know, if you guys are watching Bill and I, you probably like to laugh anyway, because you know we kind of have our own deal going on here.
Yeah,
not the serious dog trainer. I used to show up. People would be like, "Oh, are you the dog trainer?" I'd be laughing, and I'd have my like big earrings and bling belt on, be all dressed up, and they'd be like, "Are you the dog trainer?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Where's the dog? Where's the dog?
So yeah, you just never know.
I show up and they're like, "Oh, cool, that's the dog trainer right there."
Awesome.
Like,
all right, well, I think we should wrap up our
he smells like a dog. That's what
he
they say.
smells like a dog. I think we get to the point now that we probably should wrap it up here.
Yeah.
So our biggest takeaways here. Yeah, we actually had some good ones come out of this. We get chicken shaming. We have
let's see if we can put up the chicken shaming. We're going to put up the chicken shaming again.
All right. We've got
there's the chicken, okay, for anybody that's just joining us. So you gotta watch the whole thing again. If you're just joining us, it's worth it. And share it. You know, hit that share button. Make sure that other people see the chicken shaming.
There we go. So
check it out. Life hacks for your dog.
Good one. Yeah, so there's some kind of good golden little nuggets that you can take out of this. And yeah, we've been in it for a while. As you can tell, we know old school, new school, pretty much not anything you can stump us with. So yeah, love to come on and answer more of your questions and entertain you more with some good dog stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that you'll be back on here before too long. What's the best way people can get a hold of you?
The best place that people can get a hold of me. Wow, let's see here. I do have two dog pages you can get a hold of me on. One is on Facebook. One's Maui Dog Remedies.
Dog Remedies.
Yep. The other one's Dog Street School Swag.
Can you send me links for those? And
I can send you those links. Actually, I'll put the website in too.
What's the website? I can write that on screen.
MauiDogRemedies.com.
All right, Maui Dog Remedies. If that's how you spell it, we're gonna find out. Is that it? Okay. Maui Dog Remedies. Does that look right? Can you see it?
Let me see here.
Did I spell Maui right?
MAUI. I'm halfway covered up here, so I can't see.
MAUI. I did.
MAUI Dog Rem. Oh, REMED. Yep. You spelled it right.
Yes. So there you go. Go to that site right now.
Then, see, you have a dog. I have a page on Facebook. It has a lot of dog stuff on it.
Well, thank you for joining us today, JT. And also recap: Leather Leash, Biothane, Barbara Woodhouse, chicken shaming. Do-it-yourself yeast cream. We talked about that. Also talked about Dog Food Advisor, Reddit, YouTube. And if you have any life hacks that you want us to mention, please put them down in the comments below. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on another episode of the Bow Wow Bill live stream show. I need to make up a cool little name for it. If you have a name for my live stream show... Put that in the comments below.
And then I'll put my little plug in here on those two pages. Well, I don't know if you posted this one.
Here, let me put them up because I got them now.
The Facebook page, I have a 5K training guide running with dogs, and it teaches people it gives you a training program, how to train for a 5K and use your dog as your training partner. So.
Is that on Maui Dog Remedies or on the Dog Street School?
It's on Dog Street School. I actually think it's on Maui Dog Remedies too.
Okay. Well, I just posted it in the comments there for the Facebook page there. So click on that and give JT a like. And yeah, thank you, folks. Enjoy your Sunday, and we'll be joining you again here shortly. We have Sherry Lucas coming on live with us this Friday, the 13th at 3:30 p.m. And then also on Wednesday at 1 p.m., join JT and I as we go live on the Crypto Learning Academy page with the Crypto Cuckoo podcast number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4. All right, bye, everybody.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Have a wonderful Sunday. Hold on.